Hello, I'm Chris. This is my first vlog, and basically what this is about is I'm basically opening up and looking at projects that I've done in the past. Sometimes looking at why they failed or why I've stopped doing it, but in this case this is just one of those projects where I just didn't get to finish it, and hopefully I'll get to add some more stuff to it sooner going through. But I kind of really want to show off what I've done so far and talk about, the inspiration behind the game that I've started to develop. Okay. So first of all, if I go through my inspirations behind this project, this game is called So Noir, which is basically a play on words between sonar, which is like seeing through sound, and noir, which is sort of black and white, which is kind of the theme for the game. This is like a rough design document that I had at the time, which I was going through, which was like stuff I was developing for, which I'll go through in a little bit, kind of some of the stuff, and then I'll show what I was doing it. But anyway, to get on to the main point, I was basically on YouTube a couple of years ago, and I was like watching random videos as you do. And as sometimes you do that, you find something that's kind of quite inspirational, and you kind of think, well, what can I do with that? So I was watching this guy here, and don't worry, his link will be in the actual the links stuff below. And he's basically a gamer guy, and he plays computer games, but he plays it through the sound. So what we can see in where this guy's sitting down is he's got two speakers either side of him, like here and here, and then he's got his joypad controls in between. And basically, through the actual sounds of the game, he's basically playing the Zelda game. I can't remember which one it is, but I'm sure you guys will correct me. And the screen in the background is just for us, so we can see where he is. But what he's doing is he's actually playing the game, and he's using the sounds of the game to play the game. And it kind of made me think, well, how could we incorporate this into a sort of a game design that people with eyes like say me can actually play. It's kind of make trying to look at something from a different way without that's not really a play on words anyway. Okay, the other video was this video here, which has this boy and he actually has no eyes, but he can basically play like basketball, and he can skate, and he can ride his bike without crashing into things. And the way he does that is he makes like a kind of sound with his mouth, and then it kind of like the sound bounces off objects in the distance, and it comes back to him, and he basically can, through like hearing, he can actually determine what's around him, but to like a really sort of sharp image. It's kind of the same way in comic books how Daredevil uses his abilities of like hearing and hitting things. I don't know if you watched the Daredevil movie, but story aside, the way that it actually works in there, where it kind of the ripples off things and you can sort of see the objects around it, so that kind of gave me my inspiration. So I wanted a game that would be like completely dark until you basically made a sound, and then it ripples off everything around you and you can sort of see where you are. But with like the sort of, you have to navigate through a maze, and you can't tell where you are when it's completely black. And I'll show you that on my prototype. So basically I opened up Game Maker and I started making something, and this is my prototype, which is quite small, I think, the way it is. And it's kind of like you make the sounds to see. For this, like, it doesn't actually play a sound when you actually activate it. It just does. Let's see if it works first of all. Come on, load. Anyway, yeah, it kind of just is a black cube, and then in the middle is like where your character is, and your character is kind of locked to the center of the screen. So no matter where you move your character, like the screen sort of moves with you up and down. Is this even going to open? Love it when this happens. Is it doing something? Possibly. Okay, anyway, yeah, so it'll eventually pop up. In fact, I'm going to pause the video and wait for it to pop up. So rather ironically, the second I pause the video, the game launches, which is fairly amusing. Okay, so this is the game. You can just see it's a black box and you can't really see anything. I think if I move, you might be able to just about see like a flash of where the object is, but you can't see anything around you. Yeah. I did that on purpose so that you can kind of like navigate past enemies when I show you where the enemies are. Alright, but basically you push spacebar and it does a ripple and it basically bounces objects around, and it's a little bit laggy I think on this because of the recording, but you can kind of see that it has these little points and they hit out, and when they hit objects they light up and then they go dim again, and it was all messing around with the alpha. So moving through the object world, you can kind of see this. I wonder why it's so laggy. Alright, you get to this point and you can sort of see when I move left and right, you can kind of see where the character is, and you can also see where the enemy is, and that was just for testing purposes. So what happens is when you get to where an enemy is and one of your pulse parts hits it, it basically tracks towards you for the entire time like you're basically visible, and then it disappears. And when it touches you, you can see at the top you've got this sound, like numerical value. I think it was like it basically counts up like seconds or something like that. I think it's kind of a bit broken anyway. But the more time that the enemies are a bit faster than you and they catch up to you, and when they're in contact with you, they add time to your score of getting out. So this is kind of like the prototype anyway, and they can kind of track you around corners and things, which is kind of a little bit scary. Yeah, so that's kind of my first prototype. Alright, I'm just going to set it up and show you the second ones. Alright, I thought it'd probably be better to actually show you the level layout in that, and it's all grid snapped together. So this is my room, and I'm just going to zoom out of the room a little bit. And basically, one of the things I did was, for my room, if I turn off this grid, I offsetted the room, so it doesn't matter when you basically progress to the edge of the room, it kind of keeps your character fixed in the actual main spot of it. These two red parts are where you have basically the end and start parts, yeah, so you get through all the maze. And then this is the maze, and you can see these white dots over here, these are where the enemies are. So there are like dead ends in the way that you navigate through, and it's kind of viewed to work out where they are. But because when you move along, like only when you hit the spacebar you can actually see any of the level. So it's quite easy to like hit the spacebar and be like, oh, there's an enemy there, I've got to avoid that, and then try and get past the enemy without touching him, and then moving along, and then trying to move on, like hold down, like I don't know, the left key or something until you progress, but you can't tell when you've progressed enough, so you kind of have that thing where you have to hit the spacebar again and light up the room just to check to see where you are. And it could be an instance where like you literally haven't traveled that far away and you've been like running into a wall the entire time, which is kind of frustrating. But you know, it's just kind of the flavor of the game, really. You don't know where you are, and you have to use your sound pulses wisely to try and work out how to get through. Come to think of it, it'd probably be pretty decent if I did some like kind of random level generation, but yeah, this is kind of what it was first of all. The reason that you can even see the level, I think, at the moment is how it worked is, or how I originally did it. I'm probably going to change this in the future, but I had, for every one of these tiles that you can see on the level, they have their own depth, and they basically changes the depth. So there's objects underneath, and then they put objects on top, and they like have like an alpha, and they go from like 0 alpha to full alpha, and then you can kind of see through it according to that. Yeah, my theory is kind of like a bit crunched up because I haven't really gone through it before for a while. Anyway, alright, so that was the first attempt, and it was interesting. Let me just close this. Right, I had it all inside of this one file, and it's kind of got my old game and the new game, and it's kind of all shuffled in together, and I'm sure I'll probably make newer versions of the game. So I shuffle these around and then try running the game. Bear with me, it might take a while to load for some reason. The laptop's been a bit special. Oh yeah, at the moment, in the time being, all the videos I'm doing are currently from my laptop, and I think it's because it doesn't really have a dedicated graphics card. I think it just messes up the video slightly. Like sometimes when I'm talking, the sound and the audio don't quite match up. So I think I'll probably invest in getting better equipment and stuff like that to show off these videos and just do it. Another bug I thought from one of the previous videos, while this is sort of compiling, I guess, is like whenever I was doing the zoom tool in and out, I was using the Windows zoom tool, and it was kind of, with the software I'm using, Camtasia, it was kind of offsetting where everything was and not kind of working correctly. So like I'd be pointing something with the mouse, and then my mouse would be like there, and then whatever I'm actually pointing at with the mouse, where the real position is completely offset, and it just kind of looked really weird. Alright, I think while I'm doing the compiling, I think what's happening is, like, because it's recording the video and it's recording me, it's kind of doing multiple things at once, and it's sort of slowing itself down while it's compiling. But usually it's not quite this problematic. So I'll probably pause videos in future when I go to do this. Come on. Alright, wonderful. Let's move this into position. So okay, you can see it's still got the same thing where it's got complete black screen until you do something. I think if I move around, I kind of got like a temporary sprite on the character, and I think I changed the size of the actual things that are connected onto it. So when I push spacebar there, I think it fires out more things and it ripples through a lot better. And what you can sort of start to see is, like, I've actually got like a tile set that I made, and it's kind of like a weird-ish tile set, and it's for just like navigating around. And I think this level here was just like a test tile set, and I'll probably change it in the future because, like, I'm not all that happy with it, the way that it looks at the moment. It kind of has that sort of, you're looking down on it in like a 3D world, but you kind of, it's like fixed perspective. You're looking completely straight down on it, and then all of the walls like slant down like that, and then you see the floor. Rather than in proper like 3D, it would be like you look down in it from here, and then you can see like a slant wall like that, and then this wall here, and it kind of goes like that, so you could get the character partially under it. I'm not sure how really I want to do it, to be honest, to change it. I may just have it to flat 3D, or like, I don't know. I think I'll probably change it because with this tile set, it was really complicated to actually make all these corner pieces, and some of these like corner pieces here look kind of really weird. It's just like quite an unusual way I did it. I wonder if I can show you the actual level itself, and maybe a tile set. So the new level, I'll turn off the tiles because they're everywhere. Oh no, you can't see it because they're, yeah, it's kind of just like a big black blob of, and then it's basically like a million tiles all stacked over. You can sort of see as a ripple through it there. Like, it's got lots of instances of stuff, and it's just like a really inefficient way of doing it, the way I was doing it before, which is like draw the entire level out and then put individual tiles stacking over everything, and then when you do a pulse, it like ripples through and it changes the opacity of, yeah, I suppose the opacity, the alpha of each tile individually. But then you've got like millions of tiles in your game, and it's kind of just slowing everything down. It's probably why it takes ages to compile as well. So you've got all these instances of the individual objects to track, and think that probably it might be better to try and mess around with, try and do something with shaders or something like that, so it just takes a level of processing off it and does the pulse better. I've since got a lot better at programming in GameMaker since this, so I mean, I think my next attempt at this game will probably be a lot better. I think it's probably been at least a year since I last done it, maybe more, a year and 12 months. Well, not in 12 months, that's 2 years. Yeah, so like maybe 18 months since I last really messed around with this. But it's a really cool concept that I like, and I really like the name that I've come up with, So Noir. It's just definitely something I will carry on developing, and I want to put more effort into like finishing it at some point. But yeah, let me know if you like it, and if you like my other videos with my other tutorials or my other development logs where I go through other games, then please let me know. Anyway, my name's Chris, and hopefully I will get back onto developing this game.